Hello, welcome to Buying on a Budget. My name is Fai. Today I'm going to discuss about the new camera that Olympus just announced, the E-M1X, which is a $3,000 camera, and I don't own one, but I see a lot of reviews and some polarizing opinions and feels on this camera, and I think some of them are fair, but some of them are being a little bit not so rational, just try to get, attention using some polarizing feels. And first of all, I understand this is a $3,000 camera, which is really expensive. You can buy a full frame camera for that price. People said that, and full frame price but micro four thirds sensor, and I can understand that because before the launch or announcement, people rumor about that and said this can compare with the 1DX and Nikon D5, but I feel like they're a little bit different tech, and Olympus pushed this camera to a different, a little bit not so similar market. It's a little bit dedicated, and I mean there are a lot of good tech and some nice software built into this camera. For example, the Live ND, the very class leading or industry leading IPS system, or handheld high-res, which is really good and makes your life easier, and it is very portable, even though it's more than 900 grams, but still portable because the fact that you can skip tripod and ND filters, which is always good, and you just only have to bring this camera out. And I think this is very good for the future. What does it mean? I mean, $3,000 camera, not a lot of people gonna buy this. My channel is called Buying on a Budget. I'm not gonna convince you to buy that because it's expensive, but imagine that they're gonna push out this tech to some lower lineup, cheaper cameras they have. For example, maybe the EM5 lineup, that I think they're gonna renew that camera very soon, a Mark III version. Then maybe some features they will push on the EM5 Mark III. Then that would be a pretty reasonable purchase, right? Sometimes the tech, or this is just a showcase, a statement about what they can do, and it doesn't mean you have to buy it, but you can always support it if you have money. And I think it is very good in the sense that smartphones have a lot of new features, and Olympus seemingly tried to do that, and I think some old mirrorless, some old DSLR didn't have that, and in the future we will have that. It seems like it's just a inevitable fact that is gonna happen, a thing that is gonna make our life easier, right? That I don't have to do a lot of post-processing. And it also, I think this camera complete the whole system, that they didn't have a dedicated sport-oriented camera. OMD E-M1 II might do that, but it's not as good. And I mean, Panasonic did this with a Panasonic G9, Lumix G9, and I'm using this right now and I feel perfectly fine. And people at the beginning bash on this camera, saying this is the Panasonic G9 is just the same feature as the old EM1 II, but after a few months, people actually have some favorable review. And even though the not OMD, but the EM110 or X have the same sensor, but a lot of good features are being added. So I think still a little upgrade. I mean, you're not gonna sell your old cameras and buy this if you already own some, and so I think this camera is actually a little bit weird, because I think this camera is for the people already own the Olympus lenses, then they want to go into sports oriented or shoot some wildlife, and I think that is I'm not sure about this. What's your opinion? Will you buy this? And I think it's really a lighter package for travel to some extreme situation. Excellent weather seal, and I see some torture on this camera, some review torturing this camera, and it's still alive. And I think Olympus always have their weather seal nailed, and I'm not gonna be scared if I bring this camera to desert, to some extreme cold situation, raining, I can still use it, shoot picture, not gonna be afraid and still focus on photography. And I think one thing I have to mention is that Micro Four Third still has a good advantage in terms of weight because of the fact that the sensor is smaller, so their telephoto lenses are lighter and smaller, and I think a little bit slightly heavier body will balance well with the telephoto lens they offer. But I will say that one extremely downside or disadvantage that they cannot address or offer is that the sensor is small, so the high ISO performance will inevitably be not so good. It's not bad but not so good. So in extreme situation it still falls short, and people say, oh, you have IBIS, but with IBIS you can increase your shutter speed to 1/10, 1/30th, but still you cannot capture the instant 1/100th of a second. You cannot do that. I see some picture on DP Review sample, and they have to raise up the ISO because they have to shoot some picture with the basketball players, so it's one instant they want that. With IBIS you cannot do that because you can only use that fast shutter speed, and ISO performance is not better than full frame, that's for sure. And I think so it depends on your style of shooting. For me, I like, or for my old teacher, he likes slower shutter speed, then it's fine. But if you are the kind of person who prefer faster shutter speed, Micro Four Third might not suit your need, even though they have excellent IBIS. So I won't buy this camera because I have my Panasonic G9 and I think it's almost as good, and I don't see any reason to buy it. And that is not a vlogging camera per se. They don't have 60p 4K, but I think it would work fine if you know what you need. That you shoot a lot of things in extreme situation, you travel a lot, you want to focus on your photography even in extreme situation. But I do hope they will put this feature in some cheaper lineup, some cheaper cameras in the future, and I think people will follow that, other companies will follow that. But what do you think? It's a discussion. I don't even own the camera, it's weird, but still I have to catch up to some news, and I think I wanted to do something more fair comparison. So I think it's still one good and one bad. It's always both sides, and no single camera is perfect, and you just have to know what you need, right? And what do you think? I'm not sure. If you already own a lot of Micro Four Third lenses, namely or particularly Olympus lenses, and you want to dive seriously right into sports and nature photography, I mean, nature photography or wildlife photography will be more suited since they are outdoor sometimes, and indoor may be still a little bit tricky because ISO performance. So thank you very much. I look forward to the Panasonic full frame camera announcement in the future, though I'm not gonna buy it, but I still look forward to it. And if you like this video, please subscribe, comment, and see you next time. Bye.